Marjorie Taylor Greene entered the House hearing with her usual fire, aiming to dominate the floor. With cameras rolling and supporters watching, she launched into a rant clearly designed to provoke a reaction from her Democratic colleagues, especially Representative Jasmine Crockett of Texas. Crockett, seated a few rows down, kept her composure. She listened intently, eyes narrowed slightly, lips tight. Greene's voice grew louder as she tossed out accusations, her tone dripping with sarcasm, attempting to paint Crockett as uninformed and ineffective. Some people just love to play dress-up in politics, Greene said, glancing pointedly at Crockett. The jab was not subtle. Laughter trickled from a few Republican seats. But Crockett didn't flinch. She simply raised an eyebrow, then calmly requested the floor. "Madam Chair, I believe personal attacks are not part of the rules," Crockett said smoothly. The room grew a touch quieter. Greene leaned back, arms crossed, clearly enjoying the chaos. But the calm before the storm was deceptive. Crockett continued, "If the gentlewoman from Georgia wants to talk about qualifications, maybe we should compare resumes. I didn't get here by yelling conspiracy theories." The air thickened. A few Democratic members nodded and whispered in agreement. Greene smirked, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of uncertainty. "Oh please," she snapped. "Don't act like you're better than anyone. You just read whatever your staff puts in front of you." The insult landed flat. Crockett sat unmoved. "Is that so?" Crockett said, tilting her head. "Let's be clear, when I speak, I do so from legal training, courtroom experience, and a deep understanding of policy. Unlike some people, I don't need cue cards with buzzwords and outrage." Audible oohs rippled through the chamber. Greene rolled her eyes. "Typical elitism," she muttered. "The American people don't care about your law degree." But Crockett was unfazed. She leaned forward, voice steady and sharp. "The American people care about truth," she said. "They care about integrity. They care about leaders who represent them with facts, not fantasy. And frankly, they're tired of being embarrassed by baseless rants and hollow drama." Greene's posture stiffened. She looked toward her GOP allies for support, but even they appeared hesitant. Crockett wasn't shouting. She wasn't grandstanding. She was simply exposing Greene's tactics, one calm sentence at a time. "You know," Crockett said, her tone turning almost reflective, "we could accomplish so much here. But every time the Congresswoman opens her mouth, we're dragged into a circus. The American people deserve more than this chaos." Greene interrupted, "You're the chaos." She barked. "You defend criminals and corrupt politicians." But Crockett had anticipated the outburst. She waited for the yelling to die down, then spoke with precision. "You supported insurrectionists," she said bluntly. "You paraded through the Capitol acting like you're on a reality show. I came here to work. To legislate. To serve. Not to feed a social media following with outrage bait." Greene flushed red. "Don't twist my words," she shouted. "I stand for freedom and for God." Crockett raised a hand gently, motioning for calm. "If freedom means spreading lies, and God means sowing division, then you're doing it wrong." The committee chair rapped the gavel lightly, asking for decorum. Greene muttered under her breath, while Crockett sat poised, awaiting the next opportunity to speak. Cameras zoomed in. The nation was watching closely. "I respect faith," Crockett said once permitted to continue. "I respect patriotism. But don't weaponize them to justify bad behavior. The loudest person in the room isn't always the right one." Her voice held firm power. Greene fired back, "You Democrats want to cancel everyone who disagrees with you." Crockett responded without pause. "No, we just don't accept nonsense. And when it's loud and wrong, it deserves to be corrected." Murmurs of agreement echoed across the chamber. Greene's bluster began to waver. She rifled through her papers, looking for a new angle. Crockett had dismantled her talking points with controlled precision. "Let's talk about facts," Crockett said. "Who voted against aid for veterans? Who downplayed a violent attack on this building? Who repeats conspiracy theories that have been debunked over and over again?" She didn't need to name names. Greene tried to pivot. "You're just deflecting from Biden's failures," she shouted. Crockett smiled slightly. "Actually, I'm staying focused. Something you could try sometime." The room stirred. Greene had walked into her own trap. Crockett leaned forward again. "We could talk about policy. Or we could keep playing theater. But either way, I'm ready. Are you?" Greene didn't answer. Her eyes narrowed, her papers rustled, but her confidence had clearly taken a hit. "I represent Texas," Crockett said proudly. "I come from people who expect results, not tantrums. They don't care how loud you yell. They care about jobs, safety, and opportunity. And I'm here to fight for that." Greene scoffed, "That's rich coming from a party that's tanked the economy." But Crockett corrected her immediately. "Facts matter. Look at the data. Look at the record. Don't just repeat slogans you read off Twitter." The exchange became the talk of the hearing. Reporters typed feverishly. Hashtags began trending. Greene had come in looking to score political points, but it was Crockett who now owned the moment. Greene tried again. "You support open borders and criminals flooding our cities." Crockett raised a finger. "False. And that kind of rhetoric puts lives at risk. Words have consequences. You should learn that by now." There was silence. Crockett didn't shout. She didn't insult. She simply countered every accusation with calm, articulate rebuttals. Greene's usual storm of fury seemed to lose strength with each passing second. "You wanted a soundbite," Crockett said. "Well, here's one. If your only tool is division, don't be surprised when people stop listening." Her tone was like steel wrapped in silk. Greene looked cornered. "People like you ruin this country," she said weakly. Crockett didn't even blink. "No. People like me build it. People like you burn it down, then blame the firefighters." Applause erupted quietly from the Democratic side. The chair warned against outbursts. Greene looked around, realizing her plan had backfired. She had provoked Crockett, and had been intellectually outclassed. Crockett adjusted her mic. "We can disagree. That's democracy. But when disagreement turns to disinformation, it's our duty to call it out. Loudly if we must. Clearly always." Her words landed like thunder. Greene slumped back in her seat, visibly shaken. She had counted on chaos but found herself outmatched by Crockett's command of facts and calm demeanor. Crockett wasn't just responding, she was leading. "This institution used to stand for dignity," Crockett said. "But when we allow personal attacks and conspiracy to overrun the floor, we fail the people who sent us here." Her voice echoed with conviction. Greene tried to chuckle dismissively. "Oh please, spare us the speech." Crockett didn't miss a beat. "If the speech bothers you, maybe it's because the truth hurts more than you expected." Laughter erupted from a few corners. Greene's usual allies didn't come to her defense. Many looked down, pretending to be engrossed in their notes. The silence was louder than any words. Crockett continued, "Every time you speak, you remind us what happens when someone uses a microphone for attention instead of service. You don't elevate discourse, you drown it." Greene banged her fist lightly on the table. "This is all theater. You just want viral clips." Crockett smiled. "Projection is a powerful thing, Congresswoman. Especially when it's so transparent." The chair again asked for order. But the tension was undeniable. Crockett leaned in one final time, her voice lowered but clear. "You mock the process, you mock your colleagues, and most of all, you mock your voters." Greene sneered, "You don't know my voters." Crockett paused, then said, "I don't need to. But I know what they deserve. Leaders who are honest, responsible, and focused on progress, not personal brand building." At that moment, Greene seemed unsure what to say. Her mouth opened, then closed again. Crockett looked ahead, unbothered, eyes steady on the chairperson as if Greene wasn't even worth the energy anymore. Reporters couldn't type fast enough. Social media was ablaze. Clips of Crockett's takedown began circulating within minutes. Viewers across the country were witnessing a rare political reckoning. Outside the chamber, pundits weighed in. Many said Greene had finally met someone who wouldn't be bullied or baited. Crockett had flipped the script, without ever raising her voice. "You say you love America," Crockett had said earlier. "But real patriotism means protecting democracy, not distorting it for applause." That quote alone lit up cable news for hours. Greene fled the room soon after the hearing adjourned, her aides trailing closely. She declined press questions, offering only, "It's all political theater." But it was clear, she had lost the plot. Crockett, meanwhile, remained behind to speak with constituents and reporters. Calm, composed, gracious. She had no interest in gloating, only in emphasizing the importance of truth and accountability. Today wasn't about a fight, she told reporters. It was about reminding the country that dignity still has a place in politics. And I won't let anyone erase that. Analysts began comparing Crockett's approach to great congressional debaters of the past. She'd taken a volatile moment and turned it into a teachable one, without theatrics. Social media flooded with support. Hashtags like #CrockettDestroyscreen and #FactsOverNoise trended for hours. Even some moderate Republicans expressed admiration for Crockett's composure. Greene's usual media allies scrambled to spin the story. But the video clips didn't lie. In every frame, Greene appeared flustered while Crockett remained in full command. Late-night talk shows jumped in. One host said, Marjorie Taylor Greene walked in thinking she was the show, and Jasmine Crockett reminded her she's not even in the cast. Political commentators agreed that the confrontation revealed deeper tensions within the GOP. Many saw Greene as a symbol of dysfunction, while Crockett emerged as a beacon of balance. Even within the Capitol, quiet conversations began shifting. Lawmakers who had once feared Greene's rage realized that calm confidence could defeat chaos. Crockett received a surge of donations and support after the hearing. Voters across the country sent messages of solidarity, thanking her for standing firm without stooping low. Her staff, proud but focused, got back to work immediately. This isn't about clapping back, Crockett reminded them. It's about showing what real representation looks like. Meanwhile, Greene avoided the spotlight. For once, she didn't hold a post-hearing press conference. Her attempt to humiliate had only spotlighted her own weaknesses. That hearing became a defining moment, not just for Crockett, but for the entire political culture. It was proof that facts still matter. That dignity can stand tall even amid dysfunction. In the days that followed, Crockett appeared on several major news outlets. Each time, she stayed focused on policy, not personality. She didn't gloat, she guided. This wasn't personal, she said. This is about behavior that has no place in our chambers. We're here to serve, not to scream. Viewers noted that contrast repeatedly. Greene had ranted, Crockett had responded, and in doing so, she elevated the entire conversation above the mudslinging. Teachers shared clips of the exchange with students. It became an unexpected civics lesson on how to confront bad behavior with facts, not fury. Greene eventually returned to the media circuit, blaming liberal media bias for how the exchange was portrayed. But even some conservatives didn't buy the excuse. Crockett, by contrast, stayed grounded. She didn't get pulled into a never-ending loop of soundbites. Instead, she returned to legislation, hearings, and advocacy. That single moment had boosted her platform, but she knew the real work lay in the bills, the votes, the community meetings. That's where real power lived. Greene tried to regain relevance by repeating her favorite talking points, but the magic was gone. The spectacle had been exposed. Her mask had slipped. Meanwhile, Crockett's name began circulating on shortlists, for committees, interviews, and even potential future leadership roles. People had taken notice, not because she shouted, but because she didn't. The exchange was played in political science classes, debate clubs, and even leadership seminars. It was a moment that transcended party lines. For Crockett, the message was clear: stay grounded. Stay focused. Never take the bait. And always, always lead with truth. The halls of Congress had seen many clashes. But this one would be remembered for the clarity with which Crockett dismantled the noise. No insults. No shouting. Just strength in principle. Greene would go on to claim censorship, bias, and victimhood. But the damage was done. Her tactics had failed under the weight of their own hollowness. Crockett's words rang loudest: we don't win by being louder. We win by being better. From that point on, when Greene spoke, people remembered the silence that followed Crockett's calm takedown. It changed the room. It changed the tone. Allies of Crockett knew she had set a new bar. She had reminded Washington that poise can overpower provocation. And she had done it without losing a shred of her authenticity. The impact of that hearing lingered. In future debates, lawmakers measured their words a little more carefully. No one wanted to be the next Greene in a Crockett moment. Political culture often rewards chaos. But Crockett proved there's another way. A smarter way. A stronger way. Greene's bluster had met its match, and been exposed for what it truly was: empty, loud, and afraid of real debate. Crockett's strength wasn't just in her words, it was in her restraint. Her grace. Her steel spine beneath the calm tone. History wouldn't remember the insults. It would remember how they were dismantled, fact by fact, calmly, clearly, and completely. And in that moment, Jasmine Crockett didn't just win an argument, she reclaimed the floor for every voice silenced by noise, and reminded America what leadership really looks like.